Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Daily.
Hi everyone, we are very happy to see you here today.
Before we start, quick reminder. If you want to improve real English, listen actively. Pause when you need. Try saying some lines out loud. Now, let's jump in.
All right, today we're talking about something we all deal with but rarely talk about well, problems, and more importantly, how we talk about them calmly.
I want to start with a simple question. Why is it so hard to stay calm when we talk about a problem?
Because when something is a problem, it already hurts. You're tired, annoyed, or disappointed. Calm is usually the first thing to disappear.
I agree, but I also think we make it harder than it needs to be. Sometimes we are angry before the conversation even starts.
That's true. You rehearse the conversation in your head. You imagine the other person not listening. By the time you speak, you're already fighting.
And then the problem becomes bigger, not because of what happened, but because of how we talk about it.
Let's make this real. Imagine your friend is late again. You've waited 20 minutes. What do you usually say?
Honestly, many people say nothing at first. They smile, they say it's fine, but inside it's not fine.
And later, that calm smile turns into a sharp comment, something like, "You're always late. You don't respect my time."
Which may be true, but the tone changes everything. Now the other person feels attacked.
Here's where I slightly disagree with you. Sometimes people think calm means weak. They think if they don't sound angry, the problem won't be taken seriously.
I hear that a lot, but calm doesn't mean silent. Calm doesn't mean you accept bad behavior. It means you choose your words instead of letting emotions choose for you.
Fair point. Still, when emotions are strong, choosing words feels almost impossible.
That's because most of us were never taught how to talk about problems. We learned how to complain. We learned how to blame, but not how to explain.
So what usually happens is this. One person talks loudly, the other person stops listening, and now nobody is solving anything.
And for English learners, there's another layer. When you don't have many words, emotions come out even stronger.
Yes, you might sound rude when you don't want to, or too direct, or too quiet.
Which is why learning calm language is powerful. Not perfect grammar, calm language.
And calm doesn't mean slow or boring. It means clear. It means you focus on the problem, not the person.
So today, we're not teaching you how to win an argument. We're showing you how to have a conversation that doesn't explode.
Because the real goal isn't to be right, it's to be understood.
And once you're understood, solutions become possible.
That's where everything starts.
Let's talk about why people lose calm so quickly when there's a problem. I think many times it starts before the conversation, not during it.
I agree, but I think emotions play a bigger role than we want to admit. When you feel hurt or ignored, your body reacts first, not your mind.
True, but people often say things like, "I couldn't help it, I was angry." I don't fully accept that. Anger is a feeling, but speaking is still a choice.
I'm not fully with you there. When emotions are strong, especially for learners, thinking in another language makes it harder to slow down.
That's fair. If you're searching for words and feeling upset at the same time, calm disappears fast.
Let me give an example. Imagine your manager criticizes your work in front of others. Even if they're polite, you feel embarrassed. Your heart beats faster. Calm becomes difficult.
Yes, and then the brain starts telling stories. They don't respect me. They think I'm bad at my job. These thoughts add fuel to the emotion.
And once that happens, the conversation changes. You're no longer talking about the work, you're protecting yourself.
That's an important point. Many problem conversations turn into defense conversations. People stop listening and start preparing answers.
And listening is the first thing you need if you want to stay calm. Without listening, you only react.
Another reason people lose calm is timing. They talk about problems when they are tired, hungry, or stressed. That never helps.
Yes, and sometimes they wait too long. The problem grows silently. When they finally speak, everything comes out at once.
That's when words like always and never appear. You always do this. You never listen. Those words push calm out of the room.
I'll challenge you a bit here. Some people say strong words help release emotions. They feel better after saying them.
Maybe for a short time, but usually the relationship pays the price. Feeling better for 5 minutes is not the same as fixing a problem.
I can't argue with that. Calm conversations may feel slower, but they last longer in a good way.
And for English learners, calm also gives you time. Time to think, time to choose simple, clear sentences.
Which means fewer mistakes and fewer misunderstandings.
So, losing calm is human, but staying calm is a skill, and skills can be practiced.
And that's good news, because it means this is something you can improve, not something you're bad at forever.
I want to do something different now. Let's look at the same problem in 2 ways and see what changes.
Good idea. Comparison makes things clear.
Imagine this situation. Your coworker keeps interrupting you during meetings. First, let's show how people often talk when they're upset.
Okay, go ahead.
Why do you always interrupt me? I can't even finish one sentence. It's really annoying and honestly disrespectful.
Right away, I feel attacked. Even if the problem is real, my focus moves from the behavior to the tone.
Now let's try the same problem, but calmly. I want to talk about something from our meetings. When I'm interrupted, I lose my point and feel frustrated.
That version feels very different. It's still clear, but it invites a response instead of a fight.
This is the key difference. Calm language explains impact, not character.
Angry language often sounds like you are the problem. Calm language sounds like this situation is the problem.
Some people say calm talk sounds too soft. They worry the message won't land.
I used to think that too, but in reality, calm words are often stronger because people actually hear them.
Let's flip the roles. Imagine you are the one being confronted. Which version makes you want to change?
The calm one, without question. The angry version makes me defensive. The calm one makes me reflect.
And reflection is where change starts.
Another thing I notice is sentence length. When people are angry, sentences are short and sharp. Calm sentences give context.
Yes, and for learners, context is everything. It helps the other person understand what you mean, not just what you feel.
I'll challenge you again, though. What if the other person ignores calm talk?
Then calm talk still protects you. You stayed respectful. You stayed clear. Even if the problem continues, you didn't damage the relationship.
That's an important point. Calm communication isn't only about results, it's also about self-respect.
Exactly. You can be calm and firm at the same time.
And firmness doesn't need volume, it needs clarity.
So when you think about problems, ask yourself this: am I describing what happened, or am I attacking who they are?
Because one leads to understanding, the other leads to silence or conflict.
Now let's talk about the language itself, not as a lesson, but as something people really use when they want to stay calm.
This matters because words can either slow a conversation down or push it into a fight.
When people are upset, they often start with you statements. You did this, you said that, you caused this.
And those sentences feel like arrows. The listener immediately wants to defend themselves.
A calmer way is to start with I. I feel confused. I feel uncomfortable. I feel stressed when this happens.
Some people think this sounds weak, but it's actually very direct. You're owning your feeling instead of blaming.
Let's make it natural. Instead of saying, you never listen to me, you can say, I feel ignored when I'm speaking and get interrupted.
Same problem, different effect. One creates distance, the other opens space for a reply.
Another helpful habit is explaining the situation before the emotion. For example, yesterday during the meeting, something happened that I want to talk about.
That sentence prepares the listener. It tells them this is a conversation, not an attack.
Also, calm language often uses softer verbs, not because we're scared, but because we want clarity. Words like noticed, felt, or experienced change the tone a lot.
I've noticed that when people use those words, the listener relaxes a bit. Shoulders drop, breathing slows.
And here's something learners worry about. What if my sentence is simple? What if it sounds basic?
Simple is good. Simple is safe. Calm conversations don't need advanced vocabulary.
Long or fancy sentences can actually make things worse. They give more space for misunderstanding.
Exactly. Calm English is often short, clear, and honest.
Let me ask you something. When you have a problem, do you usually stay quiet or speak quickly without thinking? Write your answer in the comments and explain why.
That question matters because awareness comes before change.
One more thing. Calm language also includes pauses. Silence is not failure. It's thinking time.
And taking a pause is better than saying something you'll regret later.
So the goal isn't perfect sentences. The goal is honest sentences said with control.
And control grows when you practice, not when you wait for the perfect moment.
Let's move into work and study situations, because this is where calm communication is often tested the most.
Yes, because power, rules, and pressure all mix together there.
Imagine you're at work or in class and something feels unfair, maybe extra tasks, unclear instructions, or feedback that hurts.
Many people stay silent in these situations. They think speaking up will cause trouble.
Others do the opposite. They speak too strongly, too fast, and later regret it.
I lean toward being direct. I believe problems should be named clearly, even if it feels uncomfortable.
And I'm more careful. I think timing and tone matter more when hierarchy is involved.
That's our small disagreement, but both sides can still be calm.
For example, instead of saying, "This workload is impossible," you can say, "I'm having trouble managing these tasks and I need some guidance."
That sentence shows responsibility, not weakness. It invites support instead of resistance.
In study settings, it's similar. If a teacher's explanation is unclear, many students just stay confused.
Or they complain to friends instead of asking the person who can actually help.
A calm way to speak is, "I'm not fully understanding this part. Could you explain it in another way?"
That sentence shows effort. Teachers usually respond well to that.
Some learners worry their accent or grammar will make the problem worse.
But silence causes more problems than imperfect English.
Calm talk at work or school is not about proving something. It's about improving the situation.
And improvement needs communication, not frustration stored inside.
There's also body language. Calm words with aggressive posture send mixed messages.
True. Sitting straight, relaxed shoulders, steady voice. These things support your words.
And if the response is not positive, staying calm still protects your image.
People remember how you spoke, not just what you said.
So in professional spaces, calmed is not only polite, it's smart.
And smart communication builds trust over time.
Now let's talk about personal problems, the kind we have with friends or family, because these are often the hardest to handle calmly.
That's because emotions are deeper here. You care more, so you react more.
Exactly. When it's someone close, small issues feel big very quickly.
Imagine a friend who keeps canceling plans at the last minute. You understand once or twice, but after that, it hurts.
Many people joke about it instead of speaking clearly. They laugh and say, "Wow, you're always busy."
But jokes can hide real feelings. The problem doesn't disappear, it waits.
A calmer approach is being honest without blaming. Something like, "I feel disappointed when our plans change suddenly."
That sentence is direct, but it leaves space for explanation.
Family problems are even more complex. History is there. Old emotions come back fast.
Yes, one small comment can open 10 old arguments.
That's why calm language matters more with family than anywhere else.
I'll push back a little. Sometimes family doesn't take calm talk seriously. They say you're overthinking.
That happens, but calm talk is not about controlling their reaction. It's about expressing yourself clearly.
Fair enough. Also, friends often give advice when you only want understanding.
That's true. Saying, "I just need you to listen right now," can change the whole conversation.
That sentence alone can prevent arguments.
Another issue is sharing too much too fast. Calm conversations don't need every detail.
Choosing what to say is part of staying calm.
And if emotions rise, it's okay to pause. Saying, "I need a moment to think," is better than saying something hurtful.
Pauses protect relationships.
So, with friends and family, calm is not cold. Calm is caring.
And caring communication keeps connections strong even during problems.
Now we need to talk about one of the hardest situations. What do you do when you're trying to stay calm, but the other person is not calm at all?
This is where many people give up. They think calm communication only works if both people are calm.
And that's not realistic. In real life, one person is often louder, angrier, or more emotional.
Let's imagine a situation. You're explaining a problem calmly, but the other person raises their voice and interrupts you.
The first reaction for most people is to match that energy. Loud meets loud, anger meets anger.
Which feels natural but usually makes things worse.
Staying calm in that moment doesn't mean you agree. It means you decide not to add more fire.
Some people think staying calm means staying in the conversation no matter what. I don't fully agree with that.
I know where you're going. Calm also means knowing when to pause or stop.
Exactly. If someone is shouting or insulting, the calm choice might be stepping away.
Saying something like, "I want to talk about this, but not when we are both upset. Let's continue later."
That sentence does two things. It protects you and it keeps the door open.
Many learners worry that stopping the conversation looks rude.
But continuing a bad conversation can be more damaging than ending it politely.
Another challenge is when the other person doesn't listen. They keep repeating their point.
In that case, repeating calmly can help. Not louder, not faster, just clearer.
For example, "I understand your point. I'm talking about how this situation affected me."
That shows you heard them, but you're not abandoning your message.
Sometimes the other person uses strong words. Always, never, you don't care.
Those words are emotional shortcuts. Responding to them directly often leads to arguments.
A calmer response is focusing on the situation, not the word. Like, "Let's talk about this specific moment."
That brings the conversation back to reality instead of emotion.
Another difficult moment is when the other person blames you completely.
That can trigger defensiveness fast.
Calm communication doesn't mean accepting blame that isn't fair. It means responding without attacking.
You can say, "I see my part in this, but I don't agree with everything you're saying."
That sentence shows balance, responsibility without self-attack.
I want to talk about silence for a moment. Some people use silence as power.
Yes, they stop responding, hoping you'll feel uncomfortable and back down.
In that case, calm means naming the silence. I notice we're not talking right now. I want to understand what's happening.
That can feel scary, but it's honest.
Of course, silence can also mean the other person needs time.
And calm communication respects that too. Asking, "Do you need some time to think?" shows maturity.
One mistake people make is trying to fix everything immediately.
Yes, calm doesn't mean instant solution. It means steady progress.
Sometimes the calmest choice is saying, "Let's come back to this tomorrow."
Especially when emotions are high or words are starting to repeat.
Another important point for learners is tone. Even calm words can sound aggressive if the tone is sharp.
Slowing down helps. Speaking slightly slower helps. Breathing helps.
And reminding yourself of the goal helps. The goal is understanding, not winning.
When the other person is not calm, you become the anchor.
That's a good word, anchor. You don't move with every wave.
And even if the conversation doesn't end perfectly, staying calm builds confidence.
You walk away knowing you handled it with control.
And over time, people notice that. They may even start matching your calm.
Not always, but often enough to matter.
So, staying calm when others aren't is hard, but it's also powerful.
And power used quietly tends to last longer.
Before we finish, I want to be honest. Staying calm when talking about problems is not something you master once and never struggle with again.
Absolutely. Even people who talk about communication still lose their calm sometimes.
The difference is awareness. You start noticing when your tone changes, when your words become sharp.
And noticing gives you a choice. Continue the same way or slow down.
Over time, you learn your patterns. Maybe you go quiet. Maybe you speak too fast.
Once you see your pattern, you can work with it instead of fighting it.
Calm communication is not about sounding perfect or polite all the time.
It's about being clear without being hurtful.
Problems don't disappear because we stay calm, but calm makes them easier to handle.
It turns problems into conversations instead of battles.
For English learners, this skill is even more valuable. You don't need advanced grammar to be calm.
Simple words, honest sentences, steady tone. That's enough.
And remember, calm doesn't mean you have no emotions. It means emotions don't control your mouth.
That alone can change relationships at work, with friends, and with family.
If you take one thing from today, let it be this: pause before you speak.
That pause is small, but it creates space for better choices.
And better choices lead to better outcomes, even in difficult moments.
We're all still learning this. You're not behind. You're practicing.
Thanks for spending this time with us and listening carefully.
Keep practicing real conversations, and we'll see you next time.